Hi, everyone. Welcome to Lotus in the Light. My name is Jennifer. Okay, we're going to get started here, and I'm just going to take you through the process that I was doing off camera ahead of time, but I just want to invite you into this process with me. Not if you're driving. If you're driving, just listen, but you don't have to participate. But I just like to open myself up to spirit, get out of my monkey mind. This is what I've found that's very different from my past, like prayer life. There was not an effort, a concerted effort to get out of the monkey mind and into the heart space. And now I've discovered that that is really, really important because we've been taught to kind of shut down our heart space, not listen to our feelings, not listen to our body, um, in every aspect of our life, right? Like shut down negative feelings, don't process, don't validate them. We've been taught, finish everything on your plate when you eat instead of listening to your body. So just in general, we are not, as a society, good at listening to our bodies. But this is where God speaks to us right here, right here, right here. And uh, we tend to pray and then listen for answers here using this. And we pray out here when we should be praying right here. God's here. Um, and uh, and then we let this become so loud that we can't hear the still small voice. So I just want to take you through my little process that I go through. This process was birthed out of just my uh, meditation practices, which anybody that knows me would say, yeah, she's pretty ADD brain and it's always going. My brain's always going, right? So it really has been last year, it's been a lesson and a discipline for me to learn how to quiet that. And people, I was one of those people, it's like, I can't meditate because I can't quiet this down. But I think the mistake that most people make that I was often making as well, and this is in my meditation life, my prayer life, I now kind of consider them all one thing. But um, the idea that meditation is about like just shutting it off and not thinking of anything. I mean, we're made of energy, so we this thing is always doing something, right? So it's less about if the more you try not to do anything, the more you're doing something. You're thinking about don't do anything, right? So it's really about where to put your energetic attention. That's how I think about it. So, how do I take my attention from here and all the things that I'm thinking about that are keeping me from listening to God, that are keeping me from listening to my body, my intuition, all of those things? How can I shift my attention? So, I'll literally close my eyes and focus on, when I say focus on, like in my mind's eye, I will picture my heart space. I'll picture my eyes looking down at my heart, right? I'm looking down at my heart, and that's where I'm paying attention. So anyway, um, so I usually start this experience though, inviting God in, and I do that through first a very deep breath. So, and you can do two or three if you need, or just one, whatever. But you want to take a deep breath in. You want to hold it for a few seconds, and then when you let it out slowly. So make it take longer to breathe out than it took to breathe in. And the benefit of that is the longer you breathe out and um, collapse, if you will, your um, abdomen, your abdominal area, it will put pressure on your vagus nerve. So that pressure on your vagus nerve also helps you move out of that sympathetic nervous system and into the parasympathetic nervous system, where we're supposed to operate all the time. But as a society, many of us operate in the sympathetic nervous system most of the time, which is your fight or flight stage, because most of us tend to be in a constant state of stress. And that puts us in kind of the fight, flight, or freeze mode. So anyway, this helps us get out. You can't connect with spirit in that if your body is creating a resistance to spirit's energy if you're in fight or flight, if you're tensed up. So you got to kind of relax everything. So anyway, I'm just going to invite you into the process with me. So let's invite spirit in together. We'll close our eyes. If you can, take a deep breath. Just inviting in spirit of divine love and light. We ask you to join us in this moment as we explore ideas of opening our minds, our hearts, of growing closer to you, of better aligning to you and to our higher selves, our souls. We thank you for for the messages that we get today and the direction that we get today, just your support. Okay. We're opening ourselves up. I'm opening myself up to the message that Spirit wants to share. If you do the same, hopefully maybe we'll get a lot of the same hits and downloads, which will be really cool. So I come into these messages, or the first few that I've done so far, I've prepped about 5 minutes before. I did this process that I just did with you, and then asked Spirit, what is it that I should share? And then I spent about 5 minutes preparing. Now, interestingly, that is totally against my nature. I'm very much a preparer when it comes to giving presentations at work, delivering sermons, which I did in my past years as a minister. Yeah. Anytime I'm presenting in front of a group, there is an extremely lengthy and painful process of writing, editing, and memorizing before I present anything to anyone, because I didn't trust my monkey mind. Because once my attention was diverted and I lost my place, or I couldn't remember where I was at, it was over. It was over. I would just start rambling, right? So this is really me stepping out of my comfort zone. So the last couple of messages, I came in prepared 5 minutes ahead with nothing written. Today I'm coming in and just opening up with you and opening up to Spirit right now. I have literally nothing prepared. So we'll see where it takes us. And the first thing that I feel called to say is, hi, my name is Jennifer and I'm a control freak. And I will say, and that's what me being vulnerable in this moment is demonstrating, me not having anything prepared. That's what it's demonstrating, is that I am releasing my control freak nature to Spirit and just asking Spirit to step in to give me the message to share with you. And the message is, most of us have some control freak tendencies, right? I've spent a lot of years giving up those control freak tendencies, and I really thought I did. I really, through my faith journey, had come to a place where I would have something, I would spend time in prayer about it and give it to the Lord, and then I would continue to pray about it, and I would continue to pray about it. And then I would, between prayers, I was going and doing absolutely everything I could to make sure that worked out, and that it worked out to the outcome that I expected, to the point of creating stress and now in hindsight, unnecessary efforts. Because now I've learned that when we really truly give something to Spirit, there's nothing that we have to do except wait for what Spirit's guiding us to do. But again, I was always here. I was listening for God here, not here. So I always struggled to hear God's guidance and direction. And I'm not saying that we're not supposed to take action, but just that it is okay to not take action if we are not feeling in our own heart that we should be. So it's figuring out how to trust our intuition, figuring out how to recognize the promptings of the spirits and the synchronicities of God, where God will kind of lead you down a path and show you the way. It's really hard to do that when we've got so much writing on things, right? So this is really what it boils down to for me. When you feel really like you have to take control of a situation, the first thing I want to say is, if you feel stressed about it, if a situation and you feel like you have to step up and like jump in and do whatever, and you're just flailing, right? You're just doing whatever. This is what logically makes sense to do. That's here. That's the problem. When we don't know what to do, instead of waiting and listening, here, we say, what's the next logical step? And that was me, because I was very logic minded. So it was like, God would want me to do what's the logical next thing to do, right? So I'm all up in here. And sometimes that might be the case. but I wasn't getting that information from here. I was getting it from here. So what we really need to learn to do is allow our heart to be the GPS and then our mind to be the tools that we use when we know where we're going. So it's like the heart's the GPS, this is the vehicle. Okay, you don't get in your car and say, "Okay, car, where do you want me to go?" Your car's not the GPS. Use your GPS for the GPS, right? And then your car gets you there. Use your heart for the GPS. Use your connection to God for the GPS. And then when you have the direction, use this to help you get there. So I've spent many years creating unnecessary struggle for myself because here's what happens. God's way doesn't always look like what we think it should look like, and the outcome isn't always what we think the outcome should be, and that's hard. So usually what happens is we've already decided what we think is the right outcome, and then we are working towards that, and everything God throws at us to try to redirect us, if we're not listening, we resist, we resist, we resist, we resist, because we've already decided the outcome should be over here. And so if we truly allow ourselves to just go with the flow, it works out exactly the way it's supposed to. And not only that, but I would say everything that happens because it's exactly what you need right now. Everything, the things that are happening wonderfully in your life and the things that are happening that you're really like, man, I really don't want to be going through this right now. All of it is happening exactly as it needs to happen, exactly as it's supposed to happen. You might want to blame other people for it, especially those things that you don't want to be happening. But everything that's happening in your life is exactly what's supposed to be happening. I feel very compelled to keep repeating this to you. And not only that, you're attracting it. That's why it's the perfect thing for you. The law of attraction says what you are is what you attract. So whatever energy you're putting out there is what you're receiving back. And it's about the energy. So a lot of us get caught up in the words and what we're thinking, like, I'm going to think positive today. I'm going to think positive today. But if you're saying, I'm going to have a great day, but you're feeling like it's probably going to be a shitty day, guess what energy you're putting out there? You're just putting attention to the fact that you don't believe you're going to have a great day today because your energy can't lie. You can tell yourself whatever words you want, but your energy doesn't lie. Your body doesn't lie to you. And your body is telling you what you need to know. So here's what I would say as it relates to our control freakish natures and how do we overcome that? That's the $1,000,000 question, right? How do we stop needing to exercise so much control all the time? Well, I come back to the idea that control, again, is all about us feeling safe and protected and provided for. It's like a foundational thing. So it's really tied to our root chakra. If you don't know what your chakras are, you have these energy centers in your body, and there's 7 main energy centers. And the foundational, very first one that sits in your like lower spine, like on your sit bone, is your root chakra, represented by the color red. It vibrates at the same vibration as the color red. That's what that means. So if you aren't feeling safe, start by looking up some root chakra work and see what you learn from that experience. And also start asking yourself, this really is the root chakra work, is start asking yourself, why do I have to be in control of that? Why do I need to control the uncontrollables? Because the things that you can control in life, you should control, like how you react to things, how you feel about things. When you have a response to something and a feeling about something, and the response is negative, don't shame yourself for it. Thank yourself for it. Like, thank you for showing me that I feel a certain way about this. Why? So that you know, okay, why is that? Why do I feel that way? Why do I feel like I have to control this person's actions? Why do I feel like I have to perform this way at work? am I not a good enough employee already? Like, am I going to die by the due date of this project? Or if my child goes out and does something that I don't approve of, and is that really reflecting on me as a human being? Like, it's really start to dig in and uncover what belief systems, because I guarantee you, your need to control anything all comes out of what you believe. It all comes out of the belief systems you have, and unfortunately, a lot of our belief systems are doing us a disservice. So start there. I'm going to close out with a card, an oracle card, and I'm going to. I'm just gonna stick with the spirit animal oracle for this group. It just feels like where we're supposed to be right now. Like I said, I have other decks. Um, but it just doesn't feel like where we're supposed to be for whatever reason. I'm going to lean into it, folks. I'm going to listen here. Like here says, try another deck, but here says, stick with the spirit animal oracle. So I'm going to listen to the still small voice, okay? I love you guys. Thank you for joining me. We're learning and figuring out what this channel is going to look like. And, whoever's kind of going on this journey with me, I'm excited about it. I'm not going to be for everybody. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I get that. And that's okay. You find who works for you and what messages are working for you and what messages are helping you grow on your journey. Today, my message is about stress. About stress, listen to me. Stress and control. That was what I was. Stress and control, right? Like what do we need to release in our life? What stress do we need to release in our life that and it's that control freak-ish nature. So anyway, okay, what did we get? Swan spirit. Time for a deep dive, folks. Time for a deep dive. That's funny. We got flamingo the other day, so we're really in bird territory. So what a beautiful bird. I'm getting the pink color, which really green is the heart chakra color, but pink a lot of times signifies that heart chakra as well. So really, I think that deep dive is about getting in here, getting into your heart space and really exploring what's going on in there. The number is 60. Let's see. Here's my book. So Swan spirit. With their graceful long necks, swans are able to reach into the depths. When swan spirit arrives, I'll hold it right here for you. Um, when swan spirit, I wonder if that little smile is going to end up being the one of the clips that YouTube picks for the main picture. Cheese. Okay, sorry. I'm going to read this now, really. With their graceful long necks, swans are able to reach into the depths. When swan spirit arrives, you are called to take a deep dive beyond what is easily available on the surface. You may think you know what is best for you now, but take the plunge into the depths of your awareness, for there is knowledge you are not aware of and great treasures to discover. Deeper understanding awaits you, and a perspective that comes from greater self-knowledge is what you need right now to better understand a situation or a relationship. So this is what I'm talking about. The self-knowledge comes from slowing down, slowing this down, and listening to all of it, right? Listening to your body, listening to your heart, listening to God who's communicating through your heart. Sorry. Let's see. As you come to know yourself more intimately, so too will you come to better know others. So Swan Spirit asks you to go beyond the surface of what is happening between you and others and resist the temptation to judge by superficial appearances. Know there is much deeper potential for loving connections, forgiveness, and mutual understanding. Choose to deep dive into your why, asking the deeper questions of yourself. You are led by the grace of Swan Spirit. And then that's the oracle message. So that's the beautiful, helping, healing side of Swan Spirit. The other side of Swan energy, which is like the shadow side that sometimes, everything has its kind of positives and negatives, right? Like every aspect of ourselves. And so, same with Swan Spirit. One of the potential negatives that comes through as a protection message is don't talk yourself into diving deep into something just because you see the potential of things instead of what they really are now. The necessary work and patience involved may not be the best use of your energy. Have you seen the potential in someone and think that if you love and support them, they will become the person who knows you love them beyond all others? Have you set this down? Have you stepped into an opportunity that you know feels too good to be true and might not turn out the way you hope? Now is not a time for selective, limited perception that can lead to misjudgment. Instead, this is a time for going deep and being honest about what you find as you explore the depths. Have no fear, for whatever you find below will help you love and understand yourself and others and make better choices. Can you sense your Swan Spirit calling you to dive deep and resurface to choose again? So I'll end with what I started with. Hi, my name is Jennifer, and I'm a control freak. Thanks. Thanks for joining Lotus and Light. And till we meet again, namaste.